Hey guys, Off the Mic Sports Network here, another edition of Off the Top Rope. I have an interesting question in light of recent news that was reported in regards to what happened with Ron Killings, R-Truth, his return to WWE. We've talked about it here on the channel extensively. It wasn't a work. It very clearly wasn't a work. Multiple sources report, and I think this came from Fightful. Credit to Sean Ross Sapp. It sounds like the reason why R-Truth is back in WWE is because Nick Khan himself, the president of this company, called R-Truth by himself and tried to work out a deal with him. R-Truth was not talking to WWE as far back as a couple of days ago. And Nick Khan recognized what happened. I don't know if it was his decision or if they, R-Truth was not released. Let's get that out of the way. This whole narrative about him being released, he was not. It's just his contract, which they deemed was expensive. And I think what happened, they looked at a spreadsheet. They were like, okay, contracts are coming up. It's the 1st of June. Most of these contracts are set to expire at the 1st of the month. They looked at it and they were like, R-Truth's making way too much money. He's in his 50s. And, he's been a comedy character and a mid-card guy for us for a while. Why do we need to keep him? And maybe they negotiated with him and it didn't work out. R-Truth framing it as, I've been released was interesting. So, but Nick Khan, after everything that had happened throughout the entire week, called up R-Truth and said, hey, let's work out a deal. The president of WWE went in and basically said, hey, let's get something done. We recognize we fucked up. That'll probably never be said publicly by Nick Khan himself or even Triple H or anybody within TKO, Ari Emanuel, whoever, Mark Shapiro. I don't think it's ever going to come out that they're ever going to admit that they screwed up. Who cares? WWE never admitted that they fucked up with Daniel Bryan and they brought him back. So, again, why is this any different? But I have a serious question to ask everybody. Is Nick Khan better for wrestling than Tony Khan? Because when's the last time that you saw Tony Khan go out of his way to do something for his fans outside of, hey, Mina Shirakawa changing her entrance music? Nick Khan, who really has no vested in, he doesn't have nearly as much of a vested interest in the wrestling product. That's Triple H. And, maybe we should come after Triple H a little bit because Triple H has worked with R-Truth. He's known R-Truth for a long time. So why wasn't this Triple H who did this? But I remember a promo back in 2021 where Tony Khan was barking at Nick Khan saying he was the best Khan in professional wrestling. And I'm starting to wonder, is Nick Khan better for wrestling than, Tony Khan? Because Tony Khan is the mark in all of this. This is the guy who is supposed to know wrestling. And this is the guy who's supposed to be, doing stuff for the fans. What the fuck has Tony Khan done for the fans in the last couple of years? He's, butchered just about every single storyline possible. When fans, casual fans, maybe some sickos too, clamored for Swerve Strickland to beat Jon Moxley for the world title. Not only did Tony Khan not listen, he doubled down and brought back the Young Bucks, who everybody fucking hates, and had them cost Swerve Strickland the world championship. And now Jon Moxley's still the world champion, and now he may still be the world champion after All In, and that would be a terrible decision. On some level, I understand wanting to stick to storylines, but these storylines haven't worked for AEW, okay? And, yes, in some respect, Nick Khan has made a lot of mistakes being in charge of WWE. But when's the last time you saw that somebody go out of their way when they don't really have to and recognizing, hey, we fucked up, Ron Killings. We fucked up in letting you go. We fucked up in not re-signing you. We understand that it's been hard on you and the situation's been difficult. Will you come back to us? Also, credit to R-Truth and Ron Killings for even wanting to go back. He didn't have to go back. That's the other piece of this that is there. And, it may feed into the narrative of people saying, man, this was all a work. This wasn't. It's even been said publicly on social media from Ron Killings himself that this was not part of the plan. So, again, I look at stuff like in Ricochet, just, everybody's just trying to like, position, Tony Khan as like this beacon of light. And he's done a lot of good for the professional wrestling industry. But what the fuck has he done in the last couple of years that has even remotely been good for like, the overall growth of professional wrestling? He's been doing everything in the name of his own company. What happened with R-Truth, and what I think everybody is losing sight of because of just the way that, wrestling has been presented in 2025, and this has been, something that really goes back to when AEW became a thing, is this whole tribalistic and, division amongst wrestling fans, is that, hey, everybody's just trying to make it about themselves. Like, this was a good moment for professional wrestling in seeing a beloved figure, granted one that I didn't really, see why they needed to do this, but hey, it was very clear and it was very loud and very vocal with the "We Want Truth" stuff that fans wanted him back. And WWE made it happen. When the fuck has that ever happened? It hasn't happened in at least a decade, maybe close to 15 years. Daniel Bryan is the most recent example of that. And this was as vocal as ever. So I give credit to Nick Khan, man. And if you guys want to use this video as a framing of, hey, Triple H really is racist, go ahead and do that. I don't think that's the case. But again, like I said, for the president of WWE, he's really not invested in the wrestling product nearly as much as like, Triple H is in terms of being the head of creative. Like, this was a big seismic shift in something that, and like I said, I was thinking about this when I saw this story come out on Sunday where, Tony Khan in kayfabe was really just barking at Nick Khan. And I remember back in 2021, we were basically like, hammering Nick Khan because of all the releases and stuff and, all the things that had happened since he had taken over as the president of this company. But, Truth coming back, man, it's a good move to go back. And I mean, yes, they screwed up, but that happens in business. You make mistakes. And, it makes you wonder, man, the guy who's more vested in the Khan that is more vested in the wrestling product in the other place, the best thing that he's done in terms of changing something in the good name of his fans was he changed an entrance song. Cool. WWE made a really horrible mistake 6 days ago, or 7 days ago. They made a horrible mistake in not bringing R-Truth back. They changed their mind, and it was because of the president of their company, who's not even in charge of creative and is not even really vested in the wrestling product, made it happen. Just think about that, man. Nick Khan, as of right now, has done more good for the wrestling business, at least in 2025, than Tony Khan has. And the only reason that you would disagree with me on that is because you're a fucking sicko. There's nothing, like I said, whether you think this is a work, whether you think this is something or not, because like I said, it's not a work. But what has been reported tells you that, hey, Nick Khan's done more good in the wrestling business. Because let's face it, pro wrestling in 2025 in general has not been very good. But this was the right way to go. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.